Most drummers don't know that there's something incredibly easy they can do to instantly make their existing fills sound much more interesting and creative. When I first started, I thought the key was knowing a million different sticking patterns, but actually, it's expert versatility. When you have this in place, you can play the same fills that you're used to, but apply them in a million different ways, as opposed to playing them the same way over and over again and having them sound really boring. Pros use expert versatility all the time. For example, fill master Luke Holland uses simple sticking patterns, but applies them in a bunch of different ways to get fills that sound like this. All Luke is doing here is playing a simple sticking pattern of a 6-stroke roll with a kick, right, left, but moving it around the kit in new ways that makes it sound incredibly versatile. Here's another example where he does something similar. Again, all Luke is doing here is playing right, left, but splitting it between his hands and feet, which takes something very simple and makes it incredibly versatile. So how can we do the same thing with our fills? Well, let's start off with the most basic fill possible, which is single strokes around the kit. Now, to make this fill sound way cooler, all we have to do is go through the versatility checklist. Step number 1 is to apply the sticking pattern on the snare drum only. Step number 2 is to move your dominant hand only around the kit. Step number 3 is to now only move your weak hand around the kit. Finally, step number 4 is you can move both of your hands around the kit and get a ton of new sounds. To prove that these 3 keys to creativity work, I've locked my brother RJ in a room for 24 hours to come up with the coolest 16th note fill he can possibly come up with. But the only rules are he has to get it up to 100 BPM and he has to use all 3 keys within his fill. The twist is that he can't play drums at all. Why don't you show us the best fill that you can play right now? I'm not gonna lie, that was bad. What I didn't tell you is that if you don't impress me with this fill in 24 hours, your head's getting shaved.
Okay, I did not agree to this.
The good news is that if he does pull it off, I'm gonna give this random subscriber a free year to my online drum school, DBO Academy, my custom sticks, and some DBO merch. If you wanna win something in the future, make sure to subscribe.
I've never really done this before. And I've never really thought about sticking patterns before. So I'm just gonna play right, left around the kit and see what feels good. I always like when people hit the hi-hat and then choke it with their foot. Right, left, that works. I have no idea if I can do that at 100 BPM, but I like the way it sounds. I'm 3 notes in, and I think it sounds awesome.
We'll check back in on RJ's progress in a bit, but what is the difference between a regular fill and one that sounds really impressive? What I've noticed is that a regular fill, like 16th notes around the kit, don't quite have that wow factor. But when you play a fill that someone isn't expecting or doesn't understand how you played it, that's when you know that you have an impressive fill on your hands that's going to give people the stank face. But how can you create impressive fills for yourself? Well, the answer is the second key to creativity, which is the ABC system. This allows you to create more nuanced drum fills while using a multitude of different sticking patterns. All you have to do is take a very simple sticking pattern and assign a letter to it. For example, right, left kick, we could say is letter A. And then we could take another simple sticking pattern like right, left kick and say that's letter B. Now what we have is 2 sticking patterns that we can go back and forth on and create some cool fills with. Let's try it out. Now we can put these sticking patterns in a million different orders, which is what makes them so freaking powerful, but there's so much more that we can do with them to improve our beats and our fills, which is why I have a full course on this called the Beat and Fill Creation Lab, which will help you completely up-level your creativity in all of your fills and your beats. If you want to get instant access to this course, plus many others, including live lessons with me, you can join my online drum school, DBO Academy, right up here to take your drumming to the next level. The reason why this is so helpful is sometimes our brains can get so overwhelmed with a million different sticking patterns so we don't actually know what to play. But the ABC system breaks it up into bite-sized chunks and gives it a name so our brain can understand what we're playing. So I can quickly recall I want to play an A-B-A-B fill, and I can come up with something cool really easily. So let's hear what this sounds like. And if you're feeling adventurous from there, you could add in more sticking patterns. For example, we could add in a single stroke roll as letter C and maybe a 6-stroke roll as letter D. So now we have 4 different letters representing 4 different sticking patterns. So let's take it behind the kit and see what it sounds like when we combine 2, 3, or even 4 of these sticking patterns. Now let's see how this feels going for RJ.
ABC, ABCs, ABCs. Let's try letter B, right, left, kick. Right, left, kick. I love it. Then what? Maybe you like have like a melody or something that kind of keeps coming back in. Like, just like a... So right, oops, yeah, right, left, kick. Nope, right, left, kick. Nope. Yeah. Right, left, right. This is super fun. I see why you guys do this all the time.
Well, I hope that you hate your hair because I don't know if you're gonna be keeping it for much longer. But maybe key number 3 will help RJ, so let's get into that one. So what is it that makes someone go, wow, to our drum fills? I think if we're honest, we would love our fills to impress people. And over the years, I have learned that there is one thing that really gives your fills that wow factor. And that is to play something unexpected. Now that is how you get people to think, how the heck did he just play that? And ultimately, they'll be saying, wow. So what's a simple way to make your fills more unique and unexpected? The answer is the 3rd key to creativity, which is odd sticking patterns. This is something that can really make your fills sound more impressive, but the problem is that it can be harder to stay in time, which is why I think it's really important to just start off with 1 at first. For example, we could start off with just playing a single stroke roll and just adding an extra left at the very end. Here's what that sounds like. A super simple way to get started with an odd sticking pattern is to play it at the beginning of the fill, but then fill in the rest of the gaps with a really easy sticking pattern like kick, right, left. Here's what that would sound like. And if that's starting to feel more comfortable, you could play the odd sticking pattern twice in the beginning of your fill, and then fill in that smaller gap with the simpler sticking pattern, like this. And finally, when we combine all 3 keys to creativity, we can come up with some insane fills that sound like this. right, but now is the moment of truth. We need to see if RJ was able to pull this off or if we're shaving his head.
So I'm gonna try the whole thing really slow and then just keep speeding it up as I get more comfortable. Okay, I've been in here all day and I'm super sweaty. The fill didn't sound very good at 100 BPM, so I kept going faster until I thought it sounded cool. So we're at 150, my leg is exhausted. It's gonna be really hard to play this, especially towards the end. That last part of the fill is really hard to get on time. Giving you my best, and this one's for you, Alex.
Well, for someone who doesn't play drums, I am impressed. So congrats, Alex, you won. And if you want to win something in the future, make sure to subscribe. But if you want to take these sticking patterns and apply them to your beats and fills in new ways and impress your friends, I'd recommend this video right here. And if you want to completely take your drumming to the next level, join me in my online drum school, DBO Academy, right here. Stay true.